Hello friends, a generator on a ship is also known as the heart of the ship. It is that lifeline which supports each and every function of the ship and requires a special care, attention and maintenance for its effective and economic running. In this video, I'll explain you the detailed procedures and techniques used during decarbonization of the engine side of YANMAR 6EY18ALW generator. I would suggest to watch the video till the end so that you don't miss any important aspect that might help you while carrying out the overall of your genset. So let's get started. Friends, please read the manual before you proceed to carry out any maintenance job. A good planning will always help you to complete your job safely and in scheduled time. So make all necessary arrangements before you proceed with the job. The overhauling intervals of the YANMAR engine model 6EY18ALW operating on heavy fuel oil is between 8,000 to 12,000 running hours. First, you need to change over the fuel oil system from heavy oil to diesel oil and run the generator until complete fuel line is flushed with diesel oil. Once confirmed the fuel line is with diesel oil, stop the generator. Shut all the cooling water inlet and outlet valves and drain the cooling water from the cylinder block. Start dismantling the pipes and accessories from the cylinder head. Remove the exhaust manifold. After dismantling the high pressure pipes on fuel pumps, remove the fuel injectors from the cylinder heads. Remove the rocker arms and push rods for all units. Reconfirm all the piping connections and accessories are dismantled from the cylinder head. Keep all the connections in separate trays with identification marks for respective units. Remove the protective caps of the cylinder head bolts and clean the area around the cylinder head tightening nuts. Install the spacers such that you get access to the holes on the nut for its movement. Fix the hydraulic jacks on the nuts. Guys, next point is very important. After you tighten the hydraulic jacks, loosen the jack by half turn from the position where it touches the spacer. Once all the jacks are in position, connect the hydraulic hoses on the jacks. A separate hydraulic pump is supplied by the yard as a standard tool for cylinder head tightening nuts. Apply pressure on the hydraulic jacks and raise the pressure up to 600 bar. The hydraulic pressure should not be more than 630 bar. At 600 bar, loosen all 4 cylinder head tightening nuts, approximately 4 turns counterclockwise. Then gradually release the hydraulic pressure to 0 bar. Once the pressure drops to 0 bar, tighten the jacks until it touches the spacer. And then loosen the jacks. This is to be done in order to pump back the hydraulic oil from the jacks to the hydraulic pump. Disconnect the hoses from the jacks. Then remove the jacks and unscrew the 4 cylinder head nuts. The cylinder heads are now ready to be lifted from the block. Lock the cylinder head lifting tool on the cylinder heads. Then lift the cylinder head carefully to prevent any damage to the threads of the cylinder head bolts. Remove the piston protection ring located on top of the liner. If at all the protection ring is difficult to remove, use a special drawing out tool. Place the tool on the piston top. Turn the flywheel and push the protection ring out of the liner. Follow the procedures explained and remove the cylinder heads of all the units. After removing the cylinder heads, always put an identification mark on the cylinder head to distinguish it for the respective units. Friends, now it's time to remove the piston. Clean the carbon deposits from the top land of the cylinder liner. Set the piston position to approximately 30 degrees after top dead center in order to get access to the connecting rod bolts. Loosen both the corner rod bolts. Hold the bottom half of the connecting rod and remove the top bolt. The bottom half comes along with the bottom bearing shell. Be careful the bottom half does not fall down into the crankcase. Now screw the lifting eye bolt into the piston. Fix a chain block. Gradually lift the piston straight along with the connecting rod. Secure the top bearing shell and shift the piston to the workshop for its overhaul. One of the important factors deciding the optimal performance of a genset is the condition of its inlet and exhaust valves. During decarb, the cylinder head needs to be overhauled carefully in order to achieve the desired peak pressures until the next decarb interval. So before dismantling the valves, always punch identification mark on the valves and the head. This is done to avoid interchanging the position between suction and exhaust valves. So to dismantle the valves, lock the drawing out tool to the fuel valve clamping bolts. Install the retainer tool on the valve rotator. Screw down the retainer until you get access to two quarters. Remove the quarter. Remove the valve rotator and the two springs. Remove the valve stem lip seal. Now dismantle all the four valves in the similar manner. Once the springs are removed, lift the cylinder head. Both the suction and exhaust valves can be drawn out from the bottom of the head. Soak the cylinder head into the water. Add a descaling liquid to remove the scale deposited inside the water jacket of the cylinder heads. Keep it soaked for approximately 2 hours. Clear the carbon deposits on the valve stem. Later, cleaning the cylinder head, carefully inspect the condition of the contact surface between the valve and the valve seat. A small dents on the seating surface can be polished by the lapping procedures. Depending upon the condition of the dent marks, select the appropriate grinding compound and carry out the lapping of the valve and the seat. Later, appropriately lapping of both inlet and exhaust valves, carefully examine the seating surfaces between the valve and the seat. Friends, here I'll show you a simple technique to test the seating surfaces. Simply draw a vertical lines at several locations by a pencil. Place the valve into the valve seat and twist the valve. Carefully check all the pencil line marks are cut at a single point. This confirms the seating surfaces are sealing perfectly. Inspect the condition of the valve stem. Confirm the surface is free of any dent marks. Also check there is no play between the valve guide and the valve stem. If the clearance is more, replace the valve guide. Later, I'll be preparing a separate video on the procedures for the replacement of the valve seat and the valve stem. Start boxing back the fittings on the cylinder head. Always replace the valve stem seal each time you do a servicing of the valves. A special tool is provided to install the stem seal. The seals are different for suction and exhaust valves, so do check the right seal for the right valves. As explained earlier, before dismantling the valves from the head, you need to put a punch mark to distinguish the suction and exhaust valves and their position. Install the valves in correct position with reference to the punch marks. Cross-check the valves are in right position. Now install the valve springs. There are 2 springs provided for each valve. The purpose behind this is, in case one spring breaks during operation, the other spring prevents the valve spindle getting dropped into the cylinder. Put the valve rotator on top of the valve springs. Lock the drawing out tool and use a retainer to compress the springs. 2 quarters are used to lock the valve spindle with the rotor caps. Install back the quarters. Perform the same procedure to install all the valves on the cylinder head. Conduct the function test of the valve rotator to ensure the valve rotates during its operation. The final test on cylinder head is very important. Plug all the jacket cooling water holes and fill water into the cylinder head. Fix a air supply tool along with the pressure gauge and clear the water droplets on the head. Raise the air pressure up to 7 bar and check if any water leak from all the fittings. The leak test is very important, so please don't skip it. Friends, for most of the generator models, the procedure to overhaul the cylinder head is almost similar. The cylinder head is ready to install. Friends, it's time for a break, as the complete video would be too long to watch in one go. Further procedures are continued in the second part. Make sure you watch the next video and don't forget to share your comments, hit the like button and subscribe my channel for gathering more information about the routine jobs on merchant ships. Thank you.